What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are having a good start to your day, guys. I know I am, because I'm still amped about the New York Mets acquiring Taijuan Walker, most previously from the Toronto Blue Jays. But now that that is over with and the Mets look like that they have their rotation solidified, and don't worry, I will be touching on that in a future video and just how exciting it really is. Now what is next for the Mets, right? Because yes, the offseason is officially over. We're into spring training now, but that is not stopping the Mets when making moves. And now that Trevor Rosenthal, as we know, has landed with the Oakland A's, what are their other bullpen options? Well, there are three guys that come to mind that the Mets have been showing interest in, or the rumor mill has been around for one reason or another. So that's what we'll be taking a look at in today's video. Everything there is to know about these three pitchers and their game, what they could possibly bring to the Mets, which one is possibly most likely out of the others to land with the Mets should it only be one of these three. And yes, one of these players is in fact a familiar face, to put it lightly, and everything in between. So as always, guys, make sure you stay all the way until the end to find all the deets and all my thoughts on these players and the possibilities here. If you guys end up enjoying this kind of Mets content, you want to see more great Mets content like this, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, share this video with your friends, put on the notification bell. Thank you all so much for the countless support. It truly puts a smile on my face every single day. Now let's get a 6K subs, baby. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. Alright guys, so as we know, the Mets have been showing interest in a lot of different relief pitching options, and there are three that have really stood out over the past 24 to 48 hours. So let's start off with a guy who's really been in a lot of topic of discussion over the past week, and really for the past month, in which the Mets reportedly first showed interest in through Mark Feinsand for MLB.com right around January 18th, my memory is not mistaken, that being in Jeremy Jeffress, and has since been reaffirmed here over the past day or so here from Metsmerize, which is a Mets blog, and also through Anthony DiComo, which is one of the main beat writers for the New York Mets. But if you want to know about Jeffress and a quick summary on his game, the 33-year-old right-handed reliever at 6 foot 205 pounds was originally drafted in the first round back in 2006 by the Brewers, and in 2020 with the Chicago Cubs. In 22 games played and 23.1 innings pitched, racked up 4 wins, 1 loss, a 1.54 ERA, 8 saves, a 0.94 whip, a 6.56 K per 9, and a 4.63 walks per 9. And in 414 career games played and 424 innings pitched, has a total of 32 wins, 12 losses, a 3.08 ERA, 387 strikeouts, a 1.32 whip, and a 52 saves, and was also in 2018 an NL All-Star representing the Brew Crew. The next reliever of discussion to do a quick breakdown on his game, that being in Shane Greene, because according to Metsmerize, again, as you can see here, over the past day or so, the Mets have shown interest on him as well, and he would be another solid option should the Mets actually land him. As we know, as Mets fans, we really haven't loved Shane Greene the past couple years during his time with the Atlanta Braves, in which he has been a very solid reliever. But the 32-year-old, originally drafted in the 15th round in 2009 by the Yankees at 6'4", 200 pounds, the righty in the 2020 season with the Braves, in 28 games played in 27.2 innings pitched, has 1 win, 0 losses, a 2.6 ERA, a 1.12 whip, a 6.83 K per 9, and a 2.93 walks per 9. And throughout his career in 313 games played and 444 innings pitched, has 23 wins, 28 losses, a 4.38 career ERA, 413 strikeouts, a 1.32 whip, and 66 saves, and was also a 2019 AL All-Star in his final year with the Detroit Tigers. And last but not least, we have a reliever that we all know and love, even though it was during a very short time, but a very memorable time for the Mets that we know over the past decade, and that is, of course, regarding Tyler Clippard. And shout out to John McEnade, who is a Mets blogger, has been a long-time Mets writer, came out here and said how he has been hearing rumblings through his sources, his own personal sources, that Tyler Clippard and the Mets have been in some talks, or at least there has been interest, right? And even if it doesn't come to fruition, this is not something that you just pull out of nowhere. Okay, I definitely believe that his source is credible in this situation for sure, because again, why would you think of Tyler Clippard? Why would you lie about such a thing? So I'm gonna trust Mac on here, and there's no guarantee it's gonna happen, but that's perfectly fine if it doesn't. But I'm very excited just at the thought of it, because Tyler Clippard, all I think is very fond memories of him. But if you guys do not remember him, at the age of 36 now, originally drafted in the 9th round by the Yankees back in 2003 at a righty at 6'3", 200 pounds, and in the 2020 season, in 26 games played and 26 innings pitched, had 2 wins, 1 loss, a 2.77 ERA, a 0.88 whip, a 9 K per 9, and a 1.38 walks per 9. In 777 games played and 842 innings pitched, has 55 wins, 47 losses, a 3.13 ERA, 68 saves throughout his career, and 931 strikeouts and a 1.10 whip, and also posted a 3.06 ERA with the Mets back in 2015 and 32 games played. So very solid, as we know, in regards to Clippard. He is one of those guys that, yes, has strong memories really in the second half of the 2015 season season, and I know he was coming from the A's, so just off the top of my mind, I'm not sure if he was part of the Yoenis Cespedes trade or not. Regardless, Clippard was very strong during his stint, and he even followed me on my original Twitter before I actually made my more sports-centric Twitter. So shout out to Tyler if by any chance he's watching this, right? But the Mets have their options when it comes to these bullpen relievers, and I would be very much in favor of either of them. So could the Mets land more than one? I think it's a possibility, but for now, it looks like that at least one is on the table. And if you guys would like to expand a little bit further on each of these relievers and their games and their statistics, let's shout out to Baseball Savant like we normally do, giving you a further breakdown on how they fared in 2020 in regards to their more advanced statistics here. As you can see, some of them are strong, some of them are not so strong, but I have them all lined up to where the players were, as you see down below. And then I'm also going to be showing you here in a second, after you guys check out all those numbers, really what the pitches are in their arsenal, what they're working with as well. I figured this would be easier versus just listing them all off, but still some very strong pitches overall. The velocity isn't necessarily there with all these guys, especially Clippard, but they do have some nasty breaking stuff, and either one of them would really be tremendous in my mind for the New York Mets. They need to add relievers in this bullpen, no doubt. Yes, they have their options. Now that you bring in Taijuan Walker, you're going to push one of, I would imagine, at least of David Pearson or Joey Lucchesi to the bullpen. I think Lucchesi and his churb would be tremendous in the bullpen. I just want to add that in there. Regardless, even if he becomes a fifth starter, he's a guy that I think could be a stretch man in the bullpen at times, or Peterson, either one. I think Pearson might have the better shot as of now to being that fifth starter, but regardless, the Mets have their options now. They have depth beyond belief, and say what you will, maybe it's not the craziest depth in all the league, but it's definitely among some of the best teams in all the MLB currently, not just in this rotation. But if you add one or more of these guys, it just helps you tremendously in this bullpen, because injuries are inevitably going to happen. Seth Lugo is out for 2 months at least, as we know. He probably won't be with the Mets to start the season because he needs to really ramp up things to get back to pitching level and game level, if you will, after having the surgery due to the bone spur breaking off. So when you look at these options for the Mets, in my personal opinion, Shane Greene almost stands out the most to me, but Tyler Clippard is very enticing too. I'm not going to lie. I would very much be happy with Tyler Clippard, but what stands out about Shane Greene a little bit for me is just knowing that he very well can be a setup guy for Edwin Diaz. He's a guy that in my mind can probably fill the role almost the best out of all these three options than say a Jeffress or a Tyler Clippard going into Edwin Diaz for the 9th. He really fills that Seth Lugo role well, in my opinion. But again, Jeffress I don't think would bad. Clippard definitely wouldn't be bad. He's been having strong numbers all throughout his career, been a little up and down. All these guys haven't had phenomenal careers each and every season. We know what is what relievers, they have like a 1.5 ERA one year, then they spike up to a 4.5 or a 5 the next. They're just all over the place. Relievers, I don't know what to explain about that, just how they work. They're really like a roller coaster, if you will. But regardless, they're all solid options in my opinion. I'd be happy with either one of them, and in my mind, I think the most realistic right now could very well be Jeremy Jeffress, because if you guys don't know, really over the past month or so, Marcus Stroman did in fact tweet at Jeffress and say the following here, basically, come on, come to Queens. And in the process, Jeffress even replied basically saying along the lines of, yes, I should definitely consider it. So I thought that was interesting. It was something that I was going to touch on in a Jeffress video a while ago. I just never got to the chance to do it, but I'm happy to do it now, and I hope you guys ended up enjoying this. So as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which reliever, if any, do you think is most likely to land in Queens? Which one would you like to see land in Queens? And do you think the Mets have a chance on more than just one of these guys? Do you think that they very well could go to two? Again, the Mets don't have too much money that they're working with right now. They're right around 195 mil or so before the 210 million luxury tax threshold. Are they going to stop at the threshold? I'm not sure. They could be trying to save up some money for, say, the trade deadline. But again, this is a team that was going very aggressive at Trevor Bauer, had no problem just going right through the threshold. So if that's an indication of anything, it should be telling that this should not stop the Mets from adding what they want to add. And yes, they would like to still part ways with one of, if not both of, Betances and Familia, not just because of their contracts, but just knowing that there is still some risks with them in the bullpen, and that's why they're very well eyeing up guys, not just because of Lugo out, but for other reasons. These three options I think are all solid. I know that they're not, say, the Brad Hands of the world or, say, the Trevor Rosenthal's, but those were guys that were really demanding closer roles, and they were not going to be given it with the Mets. So if you're upset about it, I understand, but if you understand it too, that makes sense as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thank you all so much. If you ended up enjoying this kind of Mets content, want to see more great Mets content like this, you know what to do by now. Smash that like and subscribe button, share this video with your friends, put on the notification bell, all those great things. Thank you all so much for the countless support, guys. Expect great Mets content here going forward, but that isn't a surprise to you. You know that we've been consistent here, and I can only imagine where we're going to be once the season starts and beyond. Boy, oh boy, is it going to be fun. But thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon.